We've gone over a couple ways to add data to an ArcGIS Online map. You brought in a KML of a lake polygon. You can also do that with KML points. You brought in a CSV file that had latitude and longitude fields. I showed you on the lab how to bring in a CSV file that has addresses on that. What else have we done? Oh, you used map notes to create points. Another way to get data is to search for layers that already exist in ArcGIS Online. So you want to choose in, and I was just looking for FEMA flood zones. And this takes a little bit of searching, so I'm going to click here to see what's in that layer. Flood Study 2006. It doesn't look like it's Oregon. There's not much data here. Let's look at this one. That's just some National Flood Hazard, City of Galveston. I don't want that one. Let me see. Flood hazards. Oh, I hardly see anything there. Flood zones. Nothing there. I just saw a really good one, but I don't know. Social vulnerability. Interesting. It shows a social vulnerability of populations. Well, let's take a look at that. I don't know what that looks like. Interesting. So let's just play with that a minute. I'm going to go ahead and say done adding layers. And if I go, there's some statistics and data that I can look at. But one of the things I wondered, if I went to show item details, it will help me understand if this is a reputable company that's published this data. Social vulnerability, it talks about emergency response planning for hazard mitigations. So this is looking at their different variables for vulnerability. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to turn on my layer or my symbols. So now let's say I wanted to put on here locations of schools or places where there are liquor stores, and maybe I want to look at the correlation between schools and social vulnerability or schools and liquor stores. So I now have a map that would show that. Now, one of the problems is that data layer covers up Oregon. So I might want to add another layer called, let's see if I can find something for state borders that I can add on top of this. Let's see, political map, administrative boundaries. Let's see what happens. I'm going to add that on there. Done adding layers. Ooh, that's nice. Now, if I save my map, oh, those are going to cover up Oregon. So here, I'm going to, I guess I'm not. Wonder if it will let me move that down. Let's see if it'll let me go here and move that down one. No, I don't know why it won't let me move that. How weird is that? Okay. It's a lot of data. So here I am, zoomed into Oregon. And usually, I don't know why, usually you can move these boundaries. Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm just clicking. Usually you can move these up or down to cover that, so I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, that would not be a deal killer for me. I could have a nice map showing just social vulnerability. I could also, let's go ahead and turn off that layer. Maybe that's not as good a layer as I thought. Huh. And I'm just going to remove that one because I don't like that one at all. And I don't need, yeah, I'm going to take these off. I don't really know what these are doing, but I'm going to go ahead and just leave that. There we go. There's my social vulnerability map. Okay, so let's look and see what else. Search for layers. Let's look for, see if there's anything that just shows hospitals. U.S. hospitals. I'm going to look at that. Ooh, seems like there is a lot of dots here. So I'm going to add that on there. Nice. So now I have social vulnerability with an added layer of hospitals. And let's say I wanted to map just the Portland area. I could zoom in to Portland. Done adding layers. Some of these you can change the symbology and some of them you can't. So this shows the hospital, but I could also now I wouldn't want to map it by anything else. The hospital works. But I could turn on the labels if I wanted to zoom in a lot and turn on the hospital names there. And I might put a halo around them. Oh, that's really, really horrible. So there I've got those. I'm turning the labels off. They're bad. Okay, I've got hospitals, and if somebody clicks on that hospital, it will give, oh, no, it won't. Okay, so the trick there is in order to click on a hospital, you have to turn off this under layer, and then I can clip on the hospital. So right now I've got a pretty robust map showing vulnerability in hospitals. Let me see what else I can find. Let's see, I want to look up crime data. Okay. There's Portland crime. Criminal offense. Well, he hasn't added a small inset, but I'm going to add it to the map anyway and see what I get. Oh my, there's some kind of a hexagonal grid there. I want to see what safety looks like. Huh. The data supports the governor's 10 peer. Oh. Well, let's add that. That looks pretty cool. So right now you'll see that mine is clicked to with, within the map area. So that means it's only looking for data that kind of is focused on this Oregon region. So, and that one, let's see, that may be scale dependent. Let's look what happens. Yeah. So this one is grayed out until I'm zoomed in to Portland. And now I have got a bunch of different property crimes, so I could turn those off. There's a property crime grid. Maybe I don't understand enough, and I don't, so I'm going to turn that off. Maybe I'd rather look at person crimes. So how cool is this? In just 9 minutes, I now have a map that shows, I'm going to just save this here. Yeah, so I've got a map that could show, now let's see if this one, if I can move it. Oh, dang, it will not let me move these up. I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what that is. Usually you can move these layers up above other layers. So in this case, I might have to make 2 maps. One that shows hospitals and person crime. So maybe I want to know how close people are to hospitals. Society crimes, I don't even know what those are. I could look at that and see if he's got, oh, nice data associated with that. Talks about a DUII, gives me a lot of information about those crimes. This is a really nice site. So I could create two maps, one showing hazards in hospitals and vulnerability, the other I could do crimes and hospitals, or I could do crimes and social vulnerability. No, I can't because it's underneath. Daggone. Why is that a bummer? See, I can move that one down, but I cannot move the others. I don't know. More to be learned here. Oh, I can move the top one down. So can I move that up? No. How weird. Anyway, so I don't want you to feel limited by just KML files. There is so much data out there. When you add Searchforlayers, go to ArcGIS Online. Tree cover, U.S. timber harvest, 1990, picks areas planned. Okay, I'm going to add that to the map. I have no idea if this is any good. And often you'll see data that just isn't going to show up like we had a few minutes ago. So I'm going to say done lighting errors. And so sometimes I will just make a map that I use to find all these data layers, and then I make another map and pull the data layers in. I don't see anything with this timber harvest, but maybe again that's scale dependent. And yeah, oh look, there it is. U.S. Forest Service timber harvest. So again, looking at that, I could look at timber harvest near hospitals, and I'm wondering, okay, see, now I'm just getting lost here. I'm wondering if I can change the scale on that so it's not visibility range. So I can change that so that it is always visible, I think. Let's see what happens when I zoom out. I guess I can't. Let's try that again. Set visibility range. Visibility range. Oh, hold on. Nope. I don't get it, world. There it is. Nope. Okay, oh, so there it is. So I'm able, but when you zoom way out, they're so small. I think that, I'm not sure how that worked. Anyway, there's a lot of options, so I don't want you to feel just stuck with the data that you can find on your own in Google Earth, that there's a lot of data you can add to your map.